I step into the grand ballroom of the Riverside Resort and immediately wish I hadn't come. Chandeliers drip crystal light across marble floors, and wealth whispers through the room in hushed tones of respect. Nathan's hand finds the small of my back, steadying me with the gentle pressure of his palm. "Breathe," he whispers, his cardiologist's eyes assessing me with clinical precision. "We earned our place here." Emma tugs at her bow, her 7-year-old patience already wearing thin. "Mom, this thing is trying to choke me." I kneel, adjusting the offending fabric with a smile. "Just for a little while, sweetie. Remember our deal, behavior now, swimming pool after." The crowd parts briefly, and my heart stops. A familiar profile catches my eye, the slight tilt of her head, the way she leans forward when she laughs. I haven't seen that gesture in 12 years, but my body remembers it instantly. The bride turns, champagne glass raised in a toast, and our eyes lock across the room. Lily, my sister. The champagne flute trembles slightly in my hand, the only outward sign of the earthquake happening inside me. I hadn't recognized the name Dr. Ryan Mitchell in the invitation. I hadn't made the connection. I'd assumed Lily was still using our family name, Harper. Her gasp cuts through the ambient conversation like a blade. Heads turn. The music continues, but a bubble of silence forms around us, stretching across the divide. Behind her, Mother's face drains of color, then flushes crimson. Father moves protectively toward Lily, his broad shoulders creating a barrier between us, just as he's done all our lives. "What are you doing here?" Mother hisses, loud enough that nearby guests turn with curious eyes. The familiar shame rises in my throat for a heartbeat. I'm 22 again, standing in the rain with a suitcase, homeless and alone. Nathan steps forward, his voice firm but measured. "My wife is a guest. She's the CEO of TechMed Solutions. We were personally invited by the groom." The name TechMed Solutions ripples through the cluster of medical professionals nearby. I hear whispers, see recognition dawn in their eyes. "CEO." A woman in a burgundy dress turns to her companion. "That's Victoria Harper." The rain soaks through my thin jacket as Father's words echo in my memory. "If you're too ungrateful to help at the practice, don't come back." The slam of our front door punctuates his sentence, final as a judge's gavel. Now I stand straight-backed in Armani, the rain a distant memory. The scared girl is gone. In her place stands a woman who built something from nothing, who refused to disappear. Dr. Ryan Mitchell approaches, confusion creasing his brow. His gaze darts between Lily's frozen face and my composed one. "You know the CEO of TechMed Solutions?" He directs this question to my parents, then turns to me with growing interest. "We've been trying to partner with them for months. Your diagnostic software is revolutionizing emergency care protocols." Lily attempts a smile, but it falters at the edges. Mother and father exchange glances loaded with panic. The whispers among the wedding guests grow louder, more insistent. I could make a scene. I could expose 12 years of lies. I could tell Ryan how they told everyone I'd failed out of college, how they'd painted me as irresponsible while pocketing my tuition money for Lily's benefit. The power is finally mine. Instead, I simply say, "Hello, Lily, congratulations." The simplicity lands like a thunderclap. Lily flinches as if I'd shouted. Nathan's hand returns to my back, a silent question, "Stay or go?" Emma looks up at me, innocent to the undercurrents swirling around us. "Mom, is that lady in the white dress your friend?" Ryan's gaze sharpens. He looks between Lily and me, his new bride and the stranger who clearly isn't a stranger. "Lily," his voice carries confusion and the first notes of suspicion. "I thought you said your sister was." His voice trails off, the unfinished sentence hanging between us. Lily's eyes dart frantically between her new husband and her parents. For the first time in my life, I watch her struggle for words. The smart move would be to grab my family and quietly slip away. Let Lily have her perfect day. Let sleeping dogs lie. But sometimes regret is just fear wearing a mask, and I stopped being afraid a long time ago. "And this is my wife, Lily," Ryan beams, his arms sliding around her waist. Yale graduate and the brilliant mind managing her family's medical practice back in Vermont. I stand 15 feet away, my champagne untouched, watching my sister nod demurely as she's introduced to a cluster of doctors. Her pearl earrings catch the light when she tilts her head, a gesture I recognize from childhood, our tell when she's about to stretch the truth. "The Harper Clinic has been serving our community for 35 years, she says, voice pitched perfectly between pride and humility. "We specialize in family medicine with some cardiac care." Nathan touches my elbow, drawing my attention to the conversation unfolding beside us. A silver-haired woman in an elegant pantsuit reads my name badge. "Tech Med Solutions." Her eyes widen. "You're Victoria Harper. Your presentation at last month's medical summit was brilliant. The diagnostic software you've developed is changing emergency response protocols across 4 states now." "5, actually," I smile. "We just finalized implementation with Johns Hopkins Network." Across the room, Lily fumbles through a response about cardiac imaging trends. The doctor questioning her exchanges a subtle glance with his colleague. "I thought Yale's medical program had shifted away from that approach 4 years ago," he says, brow furrowed. Lily's laugh floats a pitch too high. "Well, you know how these academic debates go. Some professors hold onto traditional methodologies longer than others." Ryan's expression shifts almost imperceptibly, tightening around the eyes, a slight withdrawal of his arm from her waist. He's noticing the discrepancy. "Victoria," the voice behind me belongs to my father. 12 years older, but unmistakable, the same commanding tone that once sent me scurrying to answer phones at the clinic after school while Lily practiced violin. "You need to leave," he says, positioning himself between me and the rest of the room. "You're ruining Lily's day." Nathan stiffens beside me, but I place a steadying hand on his arm. "I was invited by Ryan," I reply, my voice low but firm. "Perhaps you should explain why that upsets you." Father's face reddens. The expensive suit he wears can't disguise the man beneath, a small-town doctor whose authority stops at the borders of his own practice. "Don't play innocent. You showing up like this, flaunting your whatever company you claim to run." "TechMed is hardly a claim." Nathan steps forward, every inch the Princeton-trained cardiologist. "The Medical Technology Conference in Seattle last month featured your daughter as the keynote speaker. Her diagnostic systems are in 32 hospitals nationwide." A nearby guest turns at this, clearly recognizing the company name. Across the room, my mother hovers near Lily, desperately trying to steer Ryan's colleagues away from my direction, her hands fluttering like panicked birds. Too late. The connections are already forming throughout the room, medical professionals recognizing my name, making associations. Emma tugs at my hand. "Mom, can I have some cake now? You promised." "In a minute, sweetheart." Emma looks past me, eyes fixed on Lily. "Is that lady your sister? Does she go to Yale like you did?" Father's face drains of color. Before he can respond, Emma continues innocently. "You showed me your old college pictures. The red buildings were pretty." Lily has drifted closer, Ryan beside her. Her face freezes at Emma's words. "Yale," Ryan says, looking between us. "You went to Yale too, Victoria." "Class of 2015, I answer simply. Ryan's colleague, a distinguished cardiologist based on his conversation, turns to Ryan. "You didn't mention your wife's sister was Victoria Harper. Her work on predictive algorithms for cardiac emergencies is revolutionary. Johns Hopkins has reduced response times by 28% using her systems." The weight of 12 years of lies settles visibly on Lily's shoulders. She reaches for Ryan's arm, but he steps slightly away, his attention now fully on the professional conversation happening around me. Rain drums against my dorm window as I stare at the bank statement. The numbers not computing. My college fund, depleted, transferred to an account I don't recognize. The same day, a package arrives from Lily. Photos of her spring break in Bermuda, the trip I couldn't understand how our family could afford. I shake off the memory, focusing on the present. Ryan has pulled Lily aside, their heated whispers visible from across the ballroom. His face reflects growing confusion, then disbelief, then something harder as she clutches at his sleeve. "You told me you graduated from Yale," he says, voice rising just enough to carry. "I went there. I've never heard your name mentioned by any of the faculty." Lily's response comes frantically. It was mostly remote learning, a special program they had for. "Yale Medicine doesn't offer remote degrees." Ryan's voice has gone cold. Never has. Color drains from Lily's face as she realizes her carefully constructed life is beginning to collapse. Her eyes dart around the room, landing on mine with desperation. Ryan steps back from her, straightens his tie, and turns. With deliberate steps, he walks across the ballroom, away from Lily, directly toward me. Behind him, Lily's pleading eyes follow, a drowning woman watching her last lifeline walk away. Ryan guides me away from the crowd with a gentle hand on my elbow. His fingers tremble slightly against my skin, the only indication that the poised doctor is rattled. "Let's find somewhere quieter," he says, his voice steady but his eyes darting back to where Lily stands with my parents, their heads bent together in urgent conversation. We settle in a small alcove at the edge of the ballroom, 2 plush chairs, a small table between us. The muted lighting casts shadows across his face, highlighting the sharp angles of confusion etched there. "I apologize for the awkwardness," he begins, straightening his bow tie. His words trail off, uncertain how to frame the chasm of questions between us. "You didn't know Lily had a sister," I finish for him, keeping my voice neutral. Ryan's eyes widen. "She mentioned a sister once, but said you dropped out of college after a semester, that you couldn't handle the pressure and disappeared." The old wound throbs, but I don't flinch. Years of boardroom negotiations have taught me to keep my face composed even when bleeding internally. "I graduated magna cum laude," I say simply, "while working 3 jobs. 3 jobs, his brow furrows. Mornings at a coffee shop, evenings at the hospital reception desk, weekends at a call center. The memories flood back, the bone-deep exhaustion, falling asleep over textbooks, the relentless push forward. I put myself through school part-time, no family support. Each word lands like a stone between us, ripples spreading outward. Ryan's expression shifts from confusion to calculation, the surgeon's analytical mind reassessing everything he thought he knew. "Yale," he asks, nomming his alma mater. I shake my head. Community college first, then state university. I couldn't afford Yale after I discovered my college fund had been, I pause, choosing my words carefully, reallocated to Lily's education. Reallocated, he concludes, the pieces clicking into place. The ballroom around us blurs as memories surface, sleeping on Sarah's lumpy couch for 8 months, showering at the YWCA when Jamie's boyfriend kicked me out, eating ramen for weeks straight to save for textbooks. The humiliation of asking professors for extensions because I couldn't stay awake after triple shifts. The hospital where I worked reception, I continue, that's where I met Nathan. He was a resident then. I remember that night clearly, hunched over healthcare administration textbooks during my dinner break, exhaustion pulling at my eyelids. Nathan stopping at my desk, curious about the complex diagrams I'd sketched in the margins. "You understand Henderson's diagnostic flow theory?" he'd asked, surprised. "It's flawed," I'd replied without looking up. "The bottleneck isn't intake, it's communication protocols between departments." He'd pulled up a chair, and we talked until my break ended. The next day, he brought coffee and questions about my ideas for streamlining emergency diagnostics. Within months, we were developing the prototype that would become TechMed's cornerstone product. Ryan leans forward. "And TechMed, Lily mentioned you worked some office job." I can't help the small smile that touches my lips. "We started in our apartment 8 years ago. Last quarter's revenue was just under $450 million. Across the room, I spot my parents flanking Lily like sentinels. Father paces small circles, his face flushed with anger, while Mother clutches Lily's arm, her knuckles white with tension. They cast frantic glances our way, whispering urgently. "They're going to try to separate us soon," I say calmly. Ryan follows my gaze. They appear concerned. Nathan approaches us, phone discreetly positioned at his side. I recognize his strategy, documenting behavior while appearing casual. A protective measure we've learned after years of navigating hostile business environments. "Everything all right here?" he asks, his cardiologist's eyes performing a quick assessment of my well-being. "Just catching up," I reply, gratitude warming my chest. The man standing beside me, steady, brilliant, sees me as I am, not as my family's convenient narrative. On cue, Mother bustles toward us, her voice pitched to Carrie. "Ryan, there's someone from Massachusetts General dying to meet you." Her eyes slide past me as if I'm invisible, a familiar sensation. Ryan stands his ground. "In a moment, Margaret, Victoria and I are having an important conversation." My mother's smile stiffens. Always the attention seeker, our Victoria. She turns to the nearest cluster of guests. She's always been jealous of her sister's accomplishments. The statement hangs in the air like smoke, acrid and choking. Several guests shift uncomfortably, eyes darting between us. I remain seated, back straight, face composed. Nathan's hand rests on my shoulder, a silent anchor. When the bathroom door swings closed behind me 20 minutes later, I'm not surprised to find Lily already inside, reapplying mascara with trembling hands. Our eyes meet in the mirror. "Why are you doing this to me?" she demands, voice breaking on the final word. I wash my hands slowly, deliberately. Doing what exactly? Ruining my wedding, making Ryan question everything. Tears streak her carefully applied makeup. "I'm not doing anything," I reply softly. "I'm simply existing." Lily slams her mascara wand onto the marble counter. "You were supposed to stay gone." For the first time, I see the fear behind her anger, the terror of a house of cards beginning to collapse. "They told everyone you were a dropout," she continues, words tumbling out like a confession. "That you couldn't handle responsibility, that you were." "And yet here I am," I interrupt, handling quite a lot. When I emerge from the bathroom, my composure is intact. I return to Nathan's side, to the warmth of his hand finding mine. Lily follows minutes later, makeup freshly applied, but something essential has shattered behind her eyes. I notice it immediately, the subtle shift in the room. Wedding guests gradually drifting toward us, drawn by genuine curiosity. A neurosurgeon discussing diagnostic innovations with Nathan. A hospital administrator slipping me her card. "Your emergency diagnostic system reduced our misdiagnosis rates by 35%, she tells me. "We'd love to explore expanding its implementation." Ryan stands at my elbow, attentive to the conversation, asking insightful questions about TechMed's technology. His new bride hovers at the periphery, unnamed. Father approaches, shoulders squared for battle. "Ryan," he interrupts loudly, "this is Lily's wedding. Let's focus on her accomplishments." The silence that follows fills the room like water, drowning everything else. All eyes flick between Ryan and Father, then to Lily, whose smile stretches thin across her face. No one speaks. No one needs to. Sometimes silence holds more truth than any words could express. I hand my half-empty champagne flute to a passing server and check my watch. We stayed long enough. Nathan catches my eye across the room, where he's extricating himself from a conversation with an enthusiastic orthopedic surgeon. His slight nod confirms we're on the same wavelength, as always. "Are we leaving now?" Emma tugs at my hand, hope brightening her eyes. "Swimming pool time." "Yes, sweetie, just one more thing." I retrieve a small cream-colored envelope from my clutch. Inside rests a certificate for TechMed stock, not life-changing money, but enough to make a statement. This is who I am now, not the desperate girl they threw away. Nathan joins us, his hand finding the small of my back. "Ready?" "Almost." I scan the room for Ryan. The poor man deserves some courtesy on his wedding day, even if his in-laws don't. We find him near the bar. Watching Lily with an expression I recognize too well, the first hints of doubt creeping into what should be certainty. My sister works the room with practiced charm, but now I notice how she flinches slightly when medical terms enter the conversation. How quickly she redirects. "We're heading out," I tell Ryan, offering the envelope. "Congratulations again." He takes it with genuine warmth. "Thank you for coming, especially considering." His eyes drift toward my parents, who hover nearby like vultures circling wounded prey. "I appreciate the invitation. I mean it. Closing this chapter matters more than I realized." Ryan leans closer, voice dropping. "I'd like to visit TechMed sometime, professionally." Our eyes meet, understanding passing between us without words. He knows, maybe not everything, but enough. "My assistant will set it up." I offer my business card, aware of Lily watching us, her smile cracking at the edges like old porcelain. Mother glides toward us, social armor firmly in place. "Victoria was always so driven," she tells a nearby guest with calculated lightness. Of course, she had advantages we couldn't provide Lily. The blatant reversal of truth would have wounded me once. Now it's almost comical. "What advantages were those, Mrs. Harper?" Nathan asks innocently. "The 3 jobs while putting herself through night school, or sleeping on friends' couches after you took her tuition money." Mother's face hardens, but a cluster of Ryan's colleagues has drifted within earshot. She retreats a step, recalculating. Emma looks up at me, confusion clouding her face. "Aren't those people your family, Mom?" The question silences everyone within hearing distance. Simple, direct, unintentionally devastating. I kneel to her level. "They're relatives, sweetie. Family is different." Father chooses this moment to approach, puffing up his chest like he did when I was young and easily intimidated. "You can't just waltz back into our lives." And I'm not interested in waltzing back into anything. My voice cuts through his bluster with quiet finality. "I'm not here to expose you or reconcile with you. I built my own life, which is exactly what you forced me to do when you showed me the door." The image flashes unbidden. Rain soaking through my jacket, the weight of my suitcase, the terrifying freedom of having nothing left to lose. Behind me, Emma fidgets with her bow. Nathan rests his hand on our daughter's shoulder, steadying her the way he steadied me all those years ago when I thought I'd drown. "Thank you," I tell my parents, causing them to blink in confusion. "Thank you for not giving me a chance. You made me build my own." Mother's face contorts between rage and social preservation. For once, she finds no words. I take Emma's hand. Nathan falls into step beside us as we make our exit, unhurried, dignified, complete. No dramatic declarations, no tearful scenes, just the quiet power of walking away whole. Whispers follow us like gentle rain, but unlike that night 12 years ago, they don't touch me. I've built an umbrella of accomplishment that shields me from their storms. In the lobby, Emma breaks free and spins with childish delight. "Pool time." 10 minutes to change, and I'll meet you there," Nathan tells her, tousling her hair. As we cross toward the elevators, I catch our reflection in the polished marble wall. A family of 3, solid and connected. Behind us, through the ballroom doors, I glimpse Ryan watching our departure, then turning back to his new bride with new questions in his eyes. Some weddings mark beginnings. This one marks an ending, the final release of expectations I never needed to fulfill, approval I no longer seek, and pain I refuse to carry forward. Emma punches the elevator button with enthusiastic determination. Up we go. "Yes," I smile, "up we go indeed." Sunlight angles through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my office, casting long shadows across the polished concrete floors. 2 months have passed since Lily's wedding, but the memory still lurks in corners of my mind like a half-forgotten dream. I scan the partnership proposal from Boston Memorial, a contract worth 8 figures sprawled across my desk. TechMed's diagnostic system reduced emergency misdiagnosis rates by 42% in their trial run. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't play favorites. My assistant Jennifer's voice crackles through the intercom. Dr. Ryan Mitchell is here to see you. My pen stills against paper. I hadn't spoken to my sister's husband since that night. Send him in. Ryan enters like a man carrying invisible weight. His shoulders curl forward, suit jacket wrinkled at the elbows. Dark circles shadow his eyes. Thank you for seeing me without an appointment. He stands awkwardly until I gesture toward the chair opposite my desk. Coffee, I offer. He shakes his head. I can't stay long. I wait. Experience has taught me the power of silence. I've consulted with a lawyer about annulment possibilities. The words tumble out like stones. Everything Lily told me was fabricated. She never attended Yale. She never managed your parents' clinic. She's the receptionist. I absorbed this without surprise. The lies were always there, waiting for someone to notice. I'm sorry to hear that, I say and mean it. Your parents, his voice trails off as he runs a hand through disheveled hair. The billing practices at their clinic. They've been charging Medicare for procedures never performed, using outdated codes deliberately. Lily helped them do it. The revelation lands like a slap, not because it's shocking, but because it confirms suspicions I buried years ago. I didn't mean to drag you back into this, Ryan continues. But when I started investigating Lily's background, I found patterns, discrepancies. Your name kept appearing in old clinic records, then vanishing completely 12 years ago. The skyline beyond my window shimmers in summer heat. I built this view from nothing while they built their lives on fabrications. They used my college fund for Lily, I say simply. When I confronted them, they told me I wasn't Yale material anyway. Ryan winces. The irony is, I never wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to improve medical systems, make them more efficient, more accurate. You've done that, Ryan says, glancing around my office. TechMed is transforming emergency care across the country. A silence stretches between us, comfortable in its honesty. The clinic is being investigated, he finally says. I submitted anonymous information to the proper authorities after discovering the extent of the fraud. They've been doing this for nearly 18 years. 18 years, beginning right around the time I left for college. My phone buzzes with a text from Nathan. Picking up Emma early. Zoo day. Join us. A warmth spreads through my chest. This is my real family now. What will you do? I ask Ryan. He straightens his shoulders. File for annulment. Cooperate with investigators. Start over. He hesitates. I came to apologize for my unwitting role in reconnecting you with your past and to ask, do you plan to get involved in the investigation? The question hangs between us, heavy with implication. I could destroy them completely. One phone call from the CEO of TechMed to the Medicare fraud investigators would accelerate everything. No, I say finally. I built my life separate from theirs. I intend to keep it that way. Relief washes across his face. Thank you for seeing me. After Ryan leaves, I stand at my window watching traffic flow 45 stories below. My phone vibrates with a voicemail notification. Lily's number, the 4th this week. Nathan calls as I'm gathering my things to meet them at the zoo. You sound tired, he says. Ryan Mitchell came to see me. The family clinic is under investigation for Medicare fraud. A pause. Are you okay? Yes, the answer surprises me with its truth. Are you going to get involved? I watch a hawk circle the skyscrapers, riding thermals with effortless grace. I was thinking about what you said last week, about how my success is already their greatest punishment. I stand by that, Nathan says, but it's your choice. My computer chimes with an incoming email. An attorney representing the Medicare Fraud Investigation Division requesting information about my time at Harper Family Practice. Attached are documents requiring my testimony. They want me to testify, I tell Nathan. What will you do? I consider the question. Part of me wants to delete the email, refuse the request, let whatever happens to them happen without my fingerprints anywhere near it. Another part remembers patients who trusted them, elderly men and women whose Medicare benefits were stolen. I'll forward them copies of the clinic's original records from when I worked there, I decide. Nothing more, nothing less, just the facts. I'm proud of you, Nathan says. My phone buzzes again. Another voicemail from Lily, her fourth today. The first one begged for money. The second threatened to tell Emma the truth about her mother. I don't need to hear the third or fourth. I press delete without listening. The small action surprisingly final. Emma wants to see the new penguin exhibit, Nathan says, his voice a welcome anchor to my real life. Tell her I'm on my way. I gather my bag, pausing at the door to look back at my office. The Boston Memorial contract waits on my desk, another hospital ready to implement the system I built from nothing but determination and long nights. I close the door behind me, leaving Lily's voicemails in digital oblivion where they belong. Some debts can never be repaid, some wounds never fully heal, but I've learned that moving forward doesn't require forgiveness. Sometimes it just requires letting go. The purple coneflowers bend towards sunlight as I pinch back another spent bloom, adding it to the collection in my palm. 8 months have passed since the wedding. 8 months of breathing easier, like finally stepping out of shoes that never quite fit. Emma races between the raised beds, her Supergirl cape fluttering behind her. Mom, can I water the tomatoes? Start with the peppers, I tell her, pointing to the drooping leaves. They're thirsty today. She grabs her small watering can, tongue poking out the corner of her mouth as she concentrates on not spilling. The mid-June sun warms my shoulders through my t-shirt. No designer labels here, just comfort in my own space. Nathan appears at the patio door, 3 glasses of lemonade balanced on a tray. Reinforcements, he calls, descending the steps into our modest garden. His cardiologist's hands, the same ones that perform delicate bypass surgeries, now pass lemonade to our daughter with exaggerated ceremony. Thank you, good sir, Emma responds with a wobbly bow that nearly spills her drink. Nathan's eyes meet mine over Emma's head. The unspoken conversation passes between us. This is what matters. This garden, this girl, this life we built from nothing but determination and truth. The Cleveland Clinic Board approved the diagnostic system, Nathan says casually, though we both know what this means. The 6th major hospital chain to adopt TechMed's technology this year alone. Thousands more patients who will be diagnosed accurately because of what we created. That's number 6, Emma announces proudly, counting on her fingers. Mom's helping all the sick people get better faster. I ruffle her hair, amazed at how she absorbs everything. That's the idea, sweetie. The doorbell chimes from inside. Nathan raises an eyebrow, expecting something. FedEx, probably. Those sensor samples from Germany. But when Nathan returns, his expression has shifted. He holds a certified letter, the return address visible even from where I stand. Lily Harper Mitchell. My stomach tightens, the familiar knot I thought I'd finally untangled. I'll be in my office. The envelope sits on my desk for 20 minutes while I finish reviewing quarterly projections. Nathan leans against the door frame, silent support. When I finally slide it open, a single sheet of cream-colored stationery slides out, covered in Lily's careful handwriting. Victoria. The clinic closed last month, not because of anything you did, because of everything Mom and Dad did. The investigation found billing irregularities going back 18 years. Ryan left me. He said he couldn't build a life with someone he couldn't trust. He was right. I'm not writing to ask for money. I know better now. I'm writing because I need to tell you that you were never the problem. I was raised to believe your intelligence threatened mine, your independence undermined my security. I believed them when they said cutting you off was necessary. I was wrong, they were wrong, and I'm sorry. Lily. Nathan doesn't ask what it says. He waits until I fold the letter and place it back in its envelope. What will you do? He asks. Nothing dramatic, I answer, turning to my computer. I open a document, type for several minutes, then print a single page. I slide it into a TechMed envelope with the letter I've written. 3 weeks later, I stand at the edge of the American Medical Technology Conference in Chicago, watching my team demonstrate our latest innovations to a crowd of healthcare professionals. The TechMed booth draws attention, our reputation preceding us now. A flash of movement catches my eye, someone in pale blue scrubs near the education pavilion. Lily, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, listens intently to a speaker discussing entry-level medical coding certification. Our eyes meet across the crowded exhibition hall. No gasps this time, no drama, just quiet recognition. She holds the TechMed internship application I sent her, clutched like a lifeline. I offer a small nod, not forgiveness exactly, but acknowledgement. She returns it, eyes bright with something that might be determination. We don't approach each other. Some relationships are completed, not continued. That evening, I finalized the paperwork for the Harper First Generation Medical Scholarship, not named for my parents, but reclaiming my birth name for something better. 25 students without family support will receive full tuition and mentorship next fall. Back home, I kneel in our garden again, digging small holes for new seedlings. Emma helps, her small hands patting soil around tender roots. Some plants don't grow well next to others, I explain, showing her how to space the seedlings. They need their own space to thrive. Like people, she asks, surprisingly perceptive. Smart girl, I whisper, kissing her forehead. Yes, like people. The sun slants golden across our yard. Through the kitchen window, I see Nathan preparing dinner, moving easily through the space we've created together. I press another seed into the dark earth, covering it gently. Some roots you're given, others you get to choose. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment below about your own journey of choosing yourself over toxic family. And don't forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss what happens when the truth finally sets you free.